Everyone, and welcome to another edition of Grammar in Quarantine. In this class, we'll be dealing with models and just a little bit with semi-models. But we will only be focusing on form and meaning. Form has to do with all the structural aspects, all that we can see in written form, whenever we have a model there, and meaning has to do with what they actually mean. Okay, what meanings do they express? You will find the theory for this on section 6.9 of your booklets. That is page 82. Now, whenever we're dealing with form, it's always important to remember the modal verbs express modality. And this has to do with meaning, in fact, but it's important to highlight this since they express modality, meanings related to this, they are always accompanied by other verbs. That's why they are auxiliary verbs, modal auxiliaries, all right? Now, pertaining to the form itself, they precede the negative particle not in negations. So an example could be, I cannot do it. So after the verb can comes the not. That is, can is before not. It's preceding it, all right? They precede the subject in yes/no questions. Can you do this for me? So we're not going to get into details of what a subject is in grammar, but let's just say that it's the person doing the action or the entity performing something. No, in yes/no questions, we invert the order of our structures in the sentence, and we say, can you do this for me? And we have a yes/no question. Yes, I can. No, I can't. Then they are followed by bare infinitive. This is to say that the verb that is right after the modal verb does not take the to infinitive form. So we are not going to say you must to do it. That is wrong. We need a bare infinitive, a verb without nothing before it but the modal. So you must do it would be the correct way of saying it. They are the first element of the verb phrase. So whenever you have a statement, which is either positive or negative, or a question, it's going to be the first element of the verb phrase. Even when it's accompanied by other auxiliaries, a primary auxiliary, the modal verb will be the first element in the verb phrase. And they are neither marked for tense nor person. So, for example, if you want to say, I can swim, and you want to say it in the third person singular, you're not going to say he or she can swim. You're going to say he or she can swim. You're not going to mark it for person, and you're not going to mark it for tense. So you can either use can, I can swim, or I could swim when I was 5, if you want to talk in the past. But they are not going to add the ed ending, for example, to mark the past. Now, this is the list of models, okay? And they are like one opposite another one, because historically the development of the models was this one. Could as is taken as the past of can. Might is the past of may. Taken as, considered, regarded as. Nowadays, it's not actually this the case. Probably they indicate meanings related to remoteness, but we're not going to get into the details of this historical development, because even though we can say that in the case of can and could, for example, could is inflected, may or might is inflected, shall and should is inflected, and you can see a pattern there, especially with could, should, and would, where they sort of had some kind of inflection to mark the past tense. We're not going to get into the details because this historical development happened before modern English. So it's not our point to discuss this. So the only one that doesn't have a counterpart, let's say, is must. Okay, which if you want to express the past, you need to use a semi-modal, like had to, for example. Now, these are the meanings expressed through the modals, one or modals, one word auxiliary modals, and an example. And then you have phrasal modals. Phrasal modals, it's a combination of auxiliaries sometimes, be most of the times, another verb or another particles, okay? Another particle. So for example, whenever we are describing future events, we could use will, okay? An example is, I will attend grammar 2 classes next year. And the first model that it's equivalent in meaning, describing a future event, is be going to, okay? I am going to attend. What's interesting of phrasal models is that they express similar meanings to modal verbs, but they do not have all the characteristics modal verbs do. Modal verbs have, for example, they are conjugated for person and for tense. So whenever you want to express something that cannot be expressed with one word model, you can use a phrasal model. So for example, if you want to describe an ability, I can go, or yeah, I can go to your house. It's obvious that you have the ability to go to my house because I don't know, you can walk, you can take a taxi, or you know the way. But if you want to mean that you can go to this person's house the following day, that is tomorrow, uh, probably you could use a be able to form. I'm able, or I will be able to go to your house. Okay, so you express the future tense without the need to say tomorrow, or I don't know. You could combine both a phrasal model and an adverbial. Okay, so most of the times we can replace a one-word model by a phrasal model. You are going to find a fuller chart for this on page, if I'm not mistaken, it's page 92, all right? So I advise you to go there. Now, for this activity, I would like you to focus on form, even though it's a little bit mixed with use, since you have to choose between can or be able to. There are instances in which you will be able to use can. There are instances in which you will be able to use be able to. That was one example. And see if you could also use could instead of can sometimes, right? So that you make it sound more appropriate. We're going to share this activity in the forum, so go there if you want to practice this. And then I would like you to focus on this activity which you have in your booklets. And this activity is on page, if I'm not mistaken, 94. For example, what you have to do, you have this chart on page 94, and below it you have 15 sentences to decide on the meaning expressed through the modal or semi-modal expression. So, for example, this is sentence number one, evidently. Getting an immigrant visa can be very tricky. The modal verb can here is expressing a general possibility. It can be very tricky. It might not be, all right, depending on the person sometimes, or the nationality you are from. Then, if you go to the examples, sentence number two says it can be quite rainy this time of the year. Sorry, that is sentence number one. This is your own example. So I don't remember sentence number two, but go check it. Evidently, it means impossibility. And then try to give your own example. In the forum, we are going to be sharing these answers as well. Okay. Hope it's clear enough. And any questions, just let me know.